All right, we are live yet again, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Kicking It with the King. It's episode 351, ladies and gentlemen. It's Saturday, May 22nd, 2021. As always, it's your host, Gabriel Hernandez, joining you here live. We're live on Instagram as well. Be sure to check out, obviously, like I said, the podcast and stuff, KWTK Pod on Instagram and Twitter. And if you haven't checked it out, be sure to check out our new podcast, also airing on the Kicking with the King network. Severely Open-Minded, episode 1 debuted with Mario Nakamura a couple days ago. Be sure to check out that one in the bio as well. All right, we're going to go live on the podcast now. We're live on Instagram now. We're going to sync up with the pod. All right, 4, 3, 2, and as I was just saying, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, check out episode 1 of Severely Open-Minded. Episode 1 features a very special guest, Mario Nakamura, for the very first episode. We have a couple of people lined up and penciled in for the next few guests. The next episode's going to be later on this week, too. So for those who just joined us on audio feed, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, we're live with episode 351 of Kicking It with the King. It's your host, Gabriel Hernandez, as always. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Pretty much, if you click the link in my bio on Instagram, you can go directly to everything, all my social medias, and all of the above, ladies and gentlemen. So, like I said, thank you all for joining us here on this great show. And like I said, it's a Saturday. I've been finding it hard to wake up the past few days a lot more. Yesterday, I probably slept until literally got my ass up probably about like 2 p.m. And that's late as fuck for me usually, considering the fact that I used to wake up super fucking early and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's super fucking early and, I'm just not used to having to wake up, you know what I mean? Like, wake up, like, when you have jobs and shit like that, you gotta attend to. Some people work the morning shift, some people work mid, and some people work afternoon, so, you know what I mean? It just depends on what fits your schedule, and if you have kids, if you have families, if you're trying to see your girlfriend or have enough time to see everybody, you know what I mean? It's a different kind of, what's it called, this depends on your scenario, depends on the availability, depends on the job, you know what I mean? I'm not here to give people job advice and stuff. And by the way, you look over my shoulder for a very long time, for probably about probably at least 20 plus podcasts now. We've had this banner in the back, and it's been Iron Man, and it was just very basic. Like, I looked at the wall, ladies and gentlemen. We got a lot of stuff to tell you guys. So we completely I redesigned my whole entire room and cleaned up. My room has been so dirty over the years, man. It's like a teenager's room. So, like I said, trash on the floor, old fast food bags and shit, and when you look under my bed, I'm like, damn, there's hella bottles under here. Not alcohol bottles, ladies and gentlemen. You wish. It was like water bottles, like half drank water bottles and stuff. So I completely cleaned all that up. If you can see and check in the background, I got a brand new banner on the back that says, in a world, what does it say? In a world of roses, be a weed. You see that in the background? That's so sick. And there's more to come on the wall there too. If you audios won't be able to listen or check this out, but check out that shit. That shit's so cool. Here we go, like the one right in front of us, too. So we remodeled it. There's a Hall of Fame right there. All that. And everything's a lot more remastered. So, I mean, I'm excited for that. The remaster and remodel. A lot of my packages did come early, too. So, like I said, people get stuck on and addicted to ordering packages. Ordering things online. It's so addictive because you literally got your phone right here. Slide to pay? Are you kidding me? Like, I can literally just slide this to pay it, and all of a sudden, you got packages coming to your house. I think I have about probably 4 more packages left to come here. of different shit. I wanted to get a lot of shit for the room, considering the fact that I did make it look a lot different. I did essentially do like a remodel and stuff. Got the windows open right here, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, so I'm doing a remodel, and yeah, and like I said, it's my sanctuary. It's my place of peace. It's my place to relax when I'm not at work and stuff. So I mean, obviously, like I said, that's got to be something that lots of people have. Absolutely, looks cool and stuff. I like it, especially like a lot of the shit that I bought. A lot of the shit that I did buy was just essential things that I've been wanting to get for a while. But I kind of was motivated by seeing like the reconstruction that my brother made in his room, and other couple family members and stuff. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna use like the last 2 days. I had the last 2 days off, right? I did talk about that. That's when we did the brand new episode of Severely Open Minded 2. And by the way, the episode 2 coming up will be focused and featured on relationships, the handling of the COVID pandemic in your mind. So meaning like how I'm gonna ask questions like for the next guest, how did you respond? What was it like for you? Did you have any close relatives and shit like that? We're gonna cover things like that, and no, not say like that's not gonna be the entire base of the podcast. Specifically for episode 2, though, and then we're gonna have episode 3, 4, 5, 6, and go on, and throughout the time from the first podcast to the next one, between each podcast, it's gonna be like different topics. We're gonna think about different topics and stuff. So it'll be cool, man. I'm really excited for those episodes. Like I said, thank you for those who did tune in for the first episode. It wasn't live. It wasn't on live on Instagram and stuff like that. And I haven't actually been. Feels like I haven't been here on Instagram live in a while. So it's good to be back here. And like I said, lots of good stuff coming up. Like you said, on my days off, I just really cleaned and relaxed. And other than that, man, I had a couple nice bottles of Jameson. Cause good God, and when you're fucked up when you don't remember when you go to sleep and stuff like that. But yeah, it's been pretty crazy. Yesterday was a hell of a day. Like yesterday was one of those days that you wanted it to be over. Like I wanted this day to be over, and it doesn't help when you have a fucking crazy ass headache. Like you ever get those headaches where like you get the headaches where it's like you want to rub your temples. And let me just tell you, like, something weird that I've tried when it comes to like, what is it, when it comes to headaches and shit, like I'll get ice cubes. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, ice cubes. Go up to the fucking ice cube, the ice maker thing, or whatever, wherever the fuck I get my ice from, and I just rub them. I rub it on my forehead, I rub it on my temples, and man, after that, it feels good. Well, why don't you drink water? Why don't you drink water? Why don't you drink more water? I do with this. I literally have a whole. I'm like literally looking at it right now. A whole thing of fucking water right here, ready to drink. I do need it. I talk a lot, so my mouth gets kind of dry. Like, essentially, if you're having a deep conversation and stuff, your mouth gets dry and stuff. So I don't want that to happen, especially not after that goddamn air bubbles. It's no fear. The king is here. Rocking the undefeated Sugar Show tea for this. I don't know if this is the second podcast in a row of Kicking It With The King that I've worn this one. Give me a second. And we got some water at long last. Here we go. All right, we will be back, ladies and gentlemen, real quick. I'm going to go on a quick commercial break. I know, it's nearly 8-10 minutes in here. We just wanted a break. Oh, no. The only reason why is because I have to use the bathroom real bad. And I don't think I can hold it yet. I'm drinking water and all that. But we will be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, man, you guys see we are back up in this bitch. That was a relief. Alright, here we are. We are live. Here we are. Sorry about that little break. But we are back. Nevertheless, we've got some fights later on today. Obviously, like I said, I'm the type that, you know me, I usually we'll talk about the fights a little bit, probably a few days before. But it hasn't come together, and I really wasn't thinking about it too much. I did watch Garbrandt versus Font, the pre-show on the ESPN Plus app. So, man, I got a little taste of seeing a little bit of the action for that fight. That fight looks absolutely bananas, outstanding. I'm a huge fan of Rob Font. I've been a huge Rob Font fan for a very long time. He actually follows me on Twitter. I mean, I always refer to him as the homie. I'm like, Rob Font's the homie, man. Like, he's absolute fucking savage. And let me tell you, man, he is a fucking savage, though. Like, he has some crazy ass knockout power. He has patience. He's good in all areas. Like, when he wins, he'll knock you out. He'll knee you to death. His bread and butter is stand up, though. Those Boston dudes are legit. And Cody Garbrandt's legit, too, a former world champion. I mean, his last knockout over a Sun Tzu was at the buzzer, too. And it was fantastic. And it was vintage Cody no love. So it was good to see Cody come back and snap that three-fight losing skid, excuse me. And now he's looking to build some momentum against a very dangerous Rob Font. Now, that's a very, risky fight, too, for Cody, considering the fact that we've seen him. Obviously, like I said, our biggest judgments are those 3 fights losing streaks that he was on, the 3-fight losing skid, and they're all by stoppage. So it's not like he was losing decisions and stuff. He was getting knocked out. So in order for Cody to not get knocked out in this fight, he's got to be patient. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people are all saying the same thing. He needs to be patient. He needs to use his great coach in Mark Henry. He needs to utilize the advice given to him. And, obviously, like I said, he seems to be in a much more better headspace over the years since becoming the world champion, since going through that 3-fight losing skid. I mean, now the fact is he last fought at UFC 255, which wasn't a crazy ass time ago. It was a little over a year, maybe like a year or so ago. It was I think it was like November of 2020, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, so his knockout over Sun Tzu was crazy. I mean, like I said, we had the pandemic really hit hard last year. Lots of fights gets canceled. I do believe Cody did get COVID at one point in time too, if I'm not mistaken. I think so. Yeah, I do think so. He did get COVID. But yeah, it was a crazy year for Cody Garbrandt, and now both men will lock horns later today. So for the audio listeners of the podcast, the fight nights are later today. I think the prelims start about four-ish. Four-ish. Yeah, so like I said, this is a routinely thing. We seem to do the podcast always on Saturdays and stuff. We do it on Saturdays, and I'm not really keen on moving it to a specific date. It's really just whenever the fuck I'm feeling like doing it, which happens to be Saturday. So, like I said, we have this reoccurring conversation here on this podcast talking about how I'm gonna go to work later. I'm gonna watch the fights for a little bit. I mean, I was able to catch the main event last week, though. We were here in this very spot last week. Excuse me, when I talked about potentially watching the who was it? Who was the main event? I forgot. Last weekend. Why is my mind drawing a blank? It was Oliveira Chandler, so I was able to catch that one. Depending on how today is, I'm not gonna count on being able to see them all live, considering the fact that I do work in customer service and stuff like that in a restaurant, and you never know how busy it's gonna be. But it's customer service, ladies and gentlemen. I was literally thinking about. Did we talk about that? No, I don't know if we talked about that on air, but I was talking about my job and stuff and how I participate in customer service and talking to people and utilizing, great conversations and communication and stuff and talking and, necessarily kind of being out there in a way. So it's kind of like similar to podcasts in a way and online streaming and all that and everything that we do here. So it's like it goes a little bit together, so it doesn't really feel like I'm working. So that's the best part. But yeah, what I was saying about the prelims and stuff, I think the prelims start about like 4ish or something like that. So I'll probably check some of those out like later on after the podcast and just chill for a bit. Got some normal shit to do back here, but yeah, back to the fights. We're not here to talk about my personal life. What the fuck? But yeah, man, it's a great fight. I mean, if you ask me to pick a winner between Font and Garbrandt, it's hard for me to go against Font. This is one of those classic fights for me where it's hard for me to pick a winner. I mean, if I had to, someone put a gun to my head, I'd say that Rob Font wins. I don't. Fuck. I'm trying to think. Something literally just popped in my head as I was thinking about this. Like, what are Cody's methods to win? Is it gonna be a stand-up war? Does he use any other tools to really, not what's the word I'm looking for? Like, to round out his game, rather than just standing and trading and hoping that he lands something super nasty. I mean, we've seen him in different spots of in his career and stuff, but his bread and butter, like I said, along with Rob Font's bread and butter, is the stand-up game. You know what I mean? So the stand-up game, and someone's gonna go to sleep, and I don't know. I just don't think that. I mean, Cody Garbrandt possesses lots of power, and Rob Font possesses a fuck ton of power as well. But I just don't think it's Rob Font that's gonna be going to sleep this today. I was gonna say this weekend, but I usually used to do these on Monday. That's why I'm used to saying it this week. And mind you, it's been 6 years. Yeah, I just don't think that Rob Font's gonna be the one to go to sleep this weekend. I mean, maybe Cody wins, but I don't think he's gonna knock out Rob Font. Is that crazy to say? I mean, Rob Font's a huge favorite. I mean, Rob's definitely been fighting in the UFC for quite some time, and I really do. Let me look. I'm gonna look on Twitter because I'm pretty sure he does follow me. I did see that. I think I asked him or something one time. I mean, I'm not asking everybody. I mean, I asked for a couple follows, but the fact that they're able to do it, we're cool. I'm like a couple little fun follows here on Twitter. Let's pull up. I want to see it real quick. Rob Font. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, it follows me on Twitter. But yeah, so it's gonna be an excellent fight. Very stacked. Very. Oh, my phone almost fell down. Let's take a look at the lineup. Let's see what do we got going on for this fight card. I only really looked at the the main event so far. Oof. So we got Jan Xiaonan taking on Carl Esparza. Felicia Spencer returning. That should be good. On the main card, very important fight at middleweight. Jack Hermanson taking on Edmund Shabazian. Then the heavyweights kick off the prelims. Big boys. Ben Rothwell versus Chris Barnett. Court McGee versus Bruno Silva, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember. Is that his name, Bruno Silva? I don't remember fucking name. Some of these people, I don't. It's hard, man. When you watch a bunch of fights and you got to think about hundreds of fucking fighters and stuff, you can't remember everybody's damn name, right? I mean, it's like, dude, come on. I'm not surprised if I can't remember some of these people's names, but yeah, we got it's a solid fight. I mean, Court McGee's fun one. The return of Yancy Medeiros. Like I said, we got the return of Cody Garbrandt. It's an exciting fight. Cody brings it every single time that he steps in the cage. I mean, win, lose, or draw, those 3 losses in a row. I do believe the second time he fought TJ, he did hurt him. He did briefly hurt TJ. And who was the third one? Oh, it was in a firefight with the Sun Tzu for that third one, or not a Sun Tzu, a firefight with what's his name? Pedro Munoz. So he hurt him, and like it was. It was just like he rushed in and he ended up getting caught, but it wasn't like he was getting absolutely dominated, man. When you rush it and you really don't give a fuck, and you're just trying to take people's heads off, your defense goes out the window completely. The defense goes out the window, and dude, it just doesn't go good for you. That's when people essentially get knocked out, just as Cody No Love did. But he's aligned with a great coach, great boxing coach in Mark Henry. Obviously, as the dudes over at Alpha Male too. That was always one thing for Team Alpha Male. They never really could realize a UFC title over the years. I mean, until Cody No Love came in, and people still talk about his performance against Dominic Cruz. I mean, that was a sensational performance. One of the best performances to win a belt and that I've looked at history-wise. And on top of that, like I said, people want to see that version of Cody return. And will we get to see that later on tonight? We might get to. Catch UFC Fight Night, Garbrandt versus Font on the ESPN Plus app. Like I said, ESPN Plus is legit, man. I'm glad I subscribed to it. I paid $20 a month for the ESPN, Hulu, and the Disney Plus bundle too. So I've been catching up on a lot of shows too. Like I said, and since we're doing plugs, ladies and gentlemen, do follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Kicking It with the King is available everywhere you get your podcasts. Exclusively on Spotify, exclusively on Apple, exclusively on iHeartRadio, exclusively everywhere you get your shows, ladies and gentlemen. And I do enjoy doing the lives and stuff. Full video episodes of each show will be available on YouTube as well. Well, the shows that we do, the lives, like I said, there won't be any updates to YouTube if we don't do a video version of the show. So you guys, everyone listening, will 100% get the audio edition as well as the video edition for the episodes that we do on Instagram Live, and we upload them to YouTube. It takes about a couple of hours, but the podcast will be up within 20 minutes or so too, ladies and gentlemen. And like I said, if you haven't checked it out, do check it out every week here as well on the same exact network. Different podcasts, same network, same host, different podcasts, ladies and gentlemen. Do catch Severely Open-Minded every week as well on the same exact platform as well. So like I said, do check out the first episode we have with Mario Nakamura out now and available. Like I said, do check it out. It's pretty cool. Live, in-depth chat, raw, unfiltered, and uncut, baby. So that's all we are here on this platform. And do, like I said, follow me on Instagram at gtheking_official as well. So, like I said, fight pick wise for the main event, I'm gonna go with the underdog pick, Rob Font. I mean, I have a tendency to pick, like I said, pick people like, obviously in a lot of people's eyes, the tattooed guy in the form of Cody No Love has always been a heavily attractive person to the mainstream media, the mainstream fan base, because of all the tattoos. Is that bad boy look? I'm digging the beard though, for sure. I'm digging the beard. So he looks good with the beard. So I think that will, like I said, that adds a little bit of the look. I mean, like I said, the bad boy tattoo look. And, like I said, another bad motherfucker in the form of Rob Font. He's got to get out of there with Rob Font, and that's not going to be easy. Especially with Rob Font slowly but surely, like, creeping his way up there. I mean, nobody's really talking about him at 135 pounds, and I think that's quite disrespectful personally. I do think that he deserves to be talked about a lot more, but maybe a win over Cody No Love would really, really spark it up for a lot of people. He's knocked out Sun Sao, and who else has he knocked out? I mean, I only remember the recent, I keep saying Sun Sao. His stoppage over Marlon Moraes was absolutely phenomenal. He busted into the top 5 with that, in my opinion, with the performance like that. Let me pull up Rob Font's Wikipedia. That's the power of Wikipedia, ladies and gentlemen. You're able to fucking look up shit like this. I mean, I don't like looking up the UFC website or Sherdog. Sherdog is absolute garbage, as I've said previously before. Here we go, Rob Font. We got him. 33 years old. Number 3 in the world. Like, how are you going to deny this guy a title fight or anything close to a title fight or any of them? If Cody No Love wins, then how can you deny him a top spot at bantamweight? Rob Font's number 3 in the world. 33 years old. New England cartel, brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, never been knocked out before. So that's what I'm saying. Like, this dude's never been knocked out before, and 20 plus fights. But like you said, he's fought a murderer's row of people. I mean, there's some real big names here on this list. I mean, starting off with Marlon Moraes. I mean, Ricky Simone. Sergio Pettis, look at what Sergio Pettis is doing now. And obviously lost to a Sun Sao by decision, sloppy decision loss. Not in the form of, not that he was losing him, in just a Sun Sao. If you lose to a Sun Sao, he just grinds people out, beats them up for 3 rounds. I mean, he knocked out Thomas Almeida, submitted Douglas Silva de Andrade, knocked out Matt Schnell. That's a good one. I mean, Rob Font hasn't really, he's been here, but he hasn't really, his UFC career hasn't been the longest. Like I said, he debuted in 2014, but he just hasn't had, a fuck ton of fights. I mean, the 3 in 2016, 2 in 2017, 3 in 2018, and 1 in 2019 and 1 in 2020. So, I mean, the fact that I think it's because, the last 2 years, he's only had 2 fights. So, I mean, with him getting this win over Cody Garbrandt, maybe that could be the UFC's opportunity to really push him up and give him another big fight. Because there's a lot to happen at bantamweight still. I mean, we got people like Dominic Cruz in the mix. We got Peter Yan still in the mix. There's a whole fucking murderer's row. I mean, Merab Dvalishvili. There's all these young talents, young up-and-comers, young top contenders, and people like Pedro Munoz as well. I'm sure he'd like to get that one back. But, all signs point up for the winner of this fight later on today. Like I said, I'd say for Cody Garbrandt, the performances, the fact that he was able to realize a UFC bantamweight title at a very young age and win against a guy who was obviously regarded as one of the best bantamweights of all time. I mean, other than that, there was really no other champions at 135 pounds other than Dominic Cruz. I mean, Dominic Cruz is the face of the 135-pound division for many years. He was in the WEC. He was the UFC bantamweight champion for the longest time. And now it's been weird because we've had a few bantamweight champions. I mean, Henry Cejudo was one of them. It was T.J. Dillashaw. We had Henry Cejudo. Well, we had T.J. Dillashaw first. Then Dominic. That's so impressive how he came back and got his belt back against TJ. And then obviously, like I said, Dominic Cruz lost it to Cody Garbrandt. And Cody Garbrandt, even though it was a decision victory, he looked absolutely outstanding against Dominic. Still stands as one of the most impressive ways to win a UFC title. Will we get that? Like I said, we repeated ourselves. Like I said, will we get that version of him later on? I don't know necessarily. We could. Like I said, this depends on what happens, man. The first punch thrown, first punch landed. You don't never know what truly is going to happen. But it will definitely be a great fight, and I can't wait to see that one. Shout out to Chris Cyborg yesterday, beating Leslie Smith, I do believe, in the 5th round of her title fight over in the Bellator cage. I mean, Bellator doing amazing things over there as well, as always. Couple notables. Austin Vanderford, Mr. Van Zant, gets the job done over top contender Leon Edwards' brother. That's the whole reason why I brought it up. The Fabian Edwards. I mean, legit killer over there in the Bellator cage. But unfortunately, it wasn't enough to get the job done against Austin Vanderford. Obviously, like I said, Paige Van Zant's husband, Mr. Van Zant. Congrats on the win. Congrats to Chris Cyborg for sure. I mean, did you just see that slam, dude? That slam that she did, dude, that shit was wild, bro. I mean, that shows you, man. Chris Cyborg. I thought Chris Cyborg was gonna knock her out early, but they went to the 5th round, and like I said, proved that she is still one of the baddest female fighters on the planet. I mean, there is a side of me that would love to see a rematch with her and Amanda Nunes, and it's like, damn, I don't know if we're ever gonna get that. I mean, cross promotion fights with the UFC at Bellator, the likelihood of that ever happening is severely low. It's a greed thing. That's the thing. It's a money thing. And if you guys could just work together, partnership up, then I don't know, that creates a whole fucking bad vibes and shit though. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're supposed to be fucking competitors. We're not here to work together. And how the fuck am I supposed to get my piece of pie and bragging rights? Are you kidding me? I'm not selling my bragging rights to make a cross promotion fight. At least that's the way the UFC's the biggest cross promotion thing that the UFC has done in my eyes. That's obviously been anything to do with any other promotion was what we talked about a few weeks ago. The Ben Askren versus not Ben Askren, the Ben Askren Demetrius Johnson trade. We get Ben Askren, won championships, gets Demetrius Johnson, and he's won a Grand Prix belt over there. Ben Askren's retired, so who at the end of the day really got the best share of that? It's one championship. Obviously, Mighty Mouse is coming off of a knockout loss, I do believe, the first time he's ever been knocked out, and he was just in a title fight too, but still, like I said, at the end of the day, the only thing UFC, like I said, cross-promotion-wise did was I do believe, in back in the day, they may have done some cross-promotion. I know they bought out Pride, I know they bought out Strikeforce, I know they bought out the WEC. I mean, you see this? The UFC is the top of the top. It's the best brand out there. And even being a different fighter in another organization, you should realize that that's the top of the top because everyone's talking about gating and going and finally being in the UFC. Being in the UFC is one thing. Winning a championship in the belt in the UFC organization is another thing. You make sure you have that on your list. If you're not there to win a championship belt, you shouldn't be fighting in there. I mean, to be honest, like I said, if you're not, there's another side of me that thinks about it like this. Like I said, there's a couple of older fighters, there's legends, there's fun fights to make for specific people that we've talked about. Potentially, like people that are nearing closer to retirement are big fun fights we want to see. There's certain fights for certain people, and there's certain fighters that certain people have no business competing against, at least not at that stage of anyone's career. I mean, not just talking about anyone specifically. I'm just saying that, like, for a young fighter or a aspiring fighter outside the organization of the UFC, you should want to get there. And if you do have goals to get there, then, like I said, that's a phenomenal. That's what it's supposed to be like. It's not supposed to be like you just get there and you're a UFC fighter. I mean, I've seen plenty of UFC fighters with low followings, and nobody knows really who they are, but they did fight in the UFC at one point in time, and modern day 2021, no one's even talking about them. But they did fight in the UFC, right? I'm sure everybody's gonna remember Conor McGregor. I mean, he hasn't fallen. There's just, it depends on what you do while you're at the organization. That's why a lot of these people market themselves. They get a lot of sponsors. They get a lot of fans' attention. They do a lot of interviews. They try to get their personality out there. You know what I mean? It's a lot to do. It's not just fighting in the UFC. The UFC's not going to promote you the way that you would promote yourself. Like I said, it depends on what's going on. It depends on who you are, your personality, your fight style. You got to have exciting fights. You got to bring it every single time and all that. You can't just fight and be there. I mean, there's trash fighters that gotten cut off of wins. I mean, people winning in impressive fashion in their perspective. I mean, John Fitch got cut one time, wasn't it? John Fitch got cut after a win? Or was it a loss? Or I don't know. I mean, there's people that have been cut off wins. And Paul Harris was cut off of a win because he did that illegal heel hook and held on too long. But I mean, there's people, like I said, you could have great performances in a row, but if you're boring and not exciting for the fans, then I don't know, man. There's really nothing they can do. Like I said, social media is very important. Like I said, all the fighters that have gotten social media and shit like that and use it for marketing and shit like that, that's the best you can do. At least to establish a secure fan base and establish an like I said, a secure fan base where there's a healthy amount of people talking about you. I mean, like I said, popular stars like Conor McGregor, I mean, Sugar Show, like Amanda Nunes, I mean, all the champions and stuff. I mean, the MMA fan base is one of the best fan bases ever and most engaging, both negatively and positively. Both are engaging and stuff. You have your fair share of bullshit fans and stuff. And what was it? I seen like a meme or something on Twitter the other day that was talking about like, what was it? Like MMA's the worst fan base out of all. Like, the Conor fan base was like the Khabib fan base, was it the O'Malley fan base, or I forgot what it was. Like they're trying to contest who's the support fan. Oh, another one I seen was funny. Which supporters are worse, Conor supporters or Trump supporters? I was like, oh my god, that's so fucking funny. But they're, like I said, you could be a supporter of anything, and you're gonna have your fair share of great supporters, and you're gonna have your fair share of shitty ass supporters. You know what I mean? So you got to kind of distinguish and kind of meet yourself in the middle a little bit. You know what I mean? But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, see that bright ass light here, baby. The bright ass dizzy light, as we always mention here on the program. So, other than that, what else we got here in news? We got to get some current events in here on this podcast. How about more aliens, more UFO videos coming out? Aliens, huh? Aliens. So aliens. I mean, until I see a motherfucking alien, I don't believe it's true. But we're getting videos we're getting all these freaking Pentagon videos and stuff now and seeing it, and 2020 was a crazy year. 2021's kind of going by a little fast. I mean, I'm not gonna say necessarily it's one of the worst years. I mean, I feel like it's a year of growth, a year of healing, a year of getting better and improving yourself after a crazy 2020 year. I mean, it was absolutely wild. The whole entire year was absolutely crazy. So I mean, it's like this year could be a recovery version of the year, and it's going to keep getting better, and we just keep moving up, and the world slowly but surely goes back to normal. Because like I said, with all the openings and for California, I do believe social distance guidelines will be lifted on June 14th. So all that, I mean, all that is good signs for people. At least for people that have doubts and shit, that were nervous, that didn't feel like life was ever going to go back to normal. And, for me, for example, like thinking about the masks, we talked about it. We've been very vocal here on the show about them. Like I said, I just said I don't imagine us now living in a world where we don't have to use masks. You know what I mean? Like it's always been so. Like I said, it's been a year long. I mean, it's essentially a part of me. Like before you go anywhere, you gotta have a mask. But they said that. Well, now it's known, pretty well known, if you are on the phone and use social media or you're on the internet notoriously. If you have been vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask. I mean, okay. Doesn't mean I'm going to get vaccinated, but if you're looking at that for thousands of people, and that I mean, it's absolutely absurd. We're not going to get into talking about why. I mean, maybe we can go a little bit into the fish tank of conspiracies and talking, because we haven't really talked a little bit about that or anything like that. But like I said, for hundreds of thousands of people, I know a handful, I know a couple of people, I've had some friends and stuff, all go get vaccinated, get the COVID vaccine. And, I was actually thinking about this the other day. I was like, if I can get my freedoms back, which most times I think there hasn't, like I said, I've said this a long time ago, or probably like last year on this very show. It was like there wasn't too much shit that I wasn't able to do that I used to do. I mean, going to the movie theater probably was one thing, but notoriously, I can't really think of anything else that I was completely wiped away from. The only thing now is you got to wear a mask when you're doing these things. Like a lot of people, like with my mouth covered up like this, like you can hardly hear me. And then on top of that, you can hardly breathe, man. I can't breathe doing physical activity for 7 hours plus a day, having a mask on. Is there any points in time where I can't, where I shouldn't have the mask on? Like when I'm in the bathroom taking a shit, do I have to have the mask on? Or it just depends. Like even though they're lifting the guidelines and stuff for people like that, I still think certain businesses and personally owned businesses or just what's the word I'm looking for? It's up to the company. So it's their discretion. It's up to them. It's their guidelines. It's what they have, their company policies. You could be vaccinated. You could go 99.9 places in California without a mask on if you've been vaccinated. But certain businesses and certain places and stuff like that, you got to wear a mask. I mean, that's perfectly fine, right? Like I said, they're making improvements. I did see something like, COVID's still out there and it's still going to be out there because it's the virus. And there's lots of viruses that are still out there. But like I said, we've been able to get vaccines. And something else has popped in my head as well. I mean, I know that this vaccine was developed in under 2 years. And yet we've got all these other different things that we haven't got cures for, like I said. So like I said, it's all right. I mean, once they find a cure for cancer, that would be a game changer. Once they find a cure for AIDS, is there a cure for AIDS? No, I don't. Is there a cure for AIDS? How many people die from AIDS? STDs, all that. That's not what we're here to talk about. We're not here to make a health-based podcast at the end of the show. We're here to talk about, like I said, they developed it. Hundreds of thousands of millions of people have been vaccinated. So, unless something absolutely wild happens in the next few years, it may just be in all our heads. You never know, though. Especially with the corruption that our government has. Everywhere you go has corruption. Businesses, people, they've had corrupt pasts. There's been some corruption-based things that they've done. And, like I said, we've all done some crazy shit in life that we haven't told anybody about. It's nothing bad. Oh yeah, I stole a fucking pack of chocolate chip cookies when I was in 7th grade from a Chevron. Okay. I thought I could steal Transformers one time, the action figures, the limited edition ones. And by the way, I looked up one of the Transformer action figures I had on Amazon the other day, not realizing how much that toy was. It was like a Marvel crossovers Wolverine edition or something like that. It was like Wolverine Transformer. It was like $80. I didn't realize how much money it was. But yeah, like I said, everybody's done some crazy shit, and there's corruption in all things. But the top of the top when it comes to corruption is your United States government. All the politicians, all the senators, all the governors of all these different states. There's a handful of them that, I mean, is there not a governor that doesn't have people like getting like weird about shit, like, oh, or hating and stuff? Oh, recall Newsom, the governor of New York, the governor of Texas. Everybody's just, it's a psychological warfare battle of politics. So it's a bunch of politics all together. They all hate each other, especially if you're on different parties. If you're a Republican, they hate you. They think you're racist. If you're a Democrat, then, like I said, that's the winning team. So if you can't beat them, you join them. There's a lot of people out there that think like that. I don't necessarily think like that. I'm not really in that kind of field. I'm just thinking about, I really don't. I'm just thinking about all the laws that we have in place, and we go from talking about that to, from unmasked to unmasking to unmasking. Now that the fact that California is able to unmask and social distancing guidelines have been severely reduced. It's been kind of crazy, man. Like I said, let's switch off politics and conspiracies and go right back to what we were talking about. Like I said, so being in the normal now. We're in 2021. We're about to hit June, and from what I've seen restaurant wise, I take my mask off right as I get to eat. Now I'm not gonna put it up every single time that I'm done chewing or done drinking something. No, I'm gonna have my mask off in the restaurant, and that's what it's been. I had ate with a friend at Denny's I think like a few weeks ago, or maybe a few weeks ago, or a month ago or so. But literally, it was the same thing. I pulled my mask down. Like I said, some people will have it down like that and just walk around with it. Like when I'm by myself in a restaurant or just by myself, at work in the lobby, I'm away from people, so I pull my mask down. If I see a customer come in or something like that, I'll put my mask up and shit. But like, if I'm by myself, I'm not gonna fucking die. I'm not gonna walk around and feel a certain way and not be able to breathe. You know what I mean? But it's cool to see everything seamlessly opening up here in California. I mean, it's good to see people getting vaccinated. It's good to see people get back to normal life and stuff like that, and doing things with themselves that they haven't done, or doing things with other people that they haven't necessarily been able to do yet. And I have the worst fat ass hangover ever, man. I had a 4 Loco last night. Those things are fucking brutal. It was a 14% one too. They believe it was like the green apple one. That one's disgusting. It tastes like they didn't have the regular one, so what's it called? It tasted like Monster Energy. You guys, I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of energy drinks because of what they make. Like myself, I get anxiety. I talk a lot. I stutter at times when I'm nervous. I get real nervous, and sometimes you get anxiety and it just goes in your stomach, goes in your chest, and makes you feel uneasy. And that's the way that I feel when I drink energy drinks. But like I said, I smoke weed. I try to have a really strong mind, so I try to really stay out of potentially overthinking things that I shouldn't be thinking, and that's a big thing lots of people do. But yeah, when it comes to anxiety and shit, drinking an energy drink just does not do it for us. So we're at the 45-minute mark here for episode 351. Like I said, if you haven't, be sure to subscribe to us on Spotify. Be sure to subscribe to us on iTunes, everywhere you get your podcast content, ladies and gentlemen. And this very episode, will be available on YouTube later on today. It will take about probably, like I said, because these quality of these shows are very high. multiple. They're like, what was it? I think it's like to save. I was looking at one of the Instagram live videos that I saved the other day, and it was about 4 gigs. So it took about 4 gigs total to upload onto YouTube, and I don't know. I mean, it's a normal speed. Like I used my phone, my Galaxy, and I'm on the Verizon. I have Verizon network. I didn't use Wi-Fi or anything. It wasn't gonna go any faster. So I that's what I've been using to upload. My hair is fucking crazy as fuck. It's always crazy as fuck. I mean, I don't think there's an episode where it isn't crazy as fuck. But yeah, to close up, to finalize, to wrap up the talk about the masks and stuff, it's good generally to see everybody kind of slowly but surely getting back to normal and stuff like that. I mean, there's a lot of shit going on in the world. I mean, that massive war over in Iran, it seemed like, I mean, an absolute battle going on out there. Just a lot of craziness, but I don't really necessarily pay attention to. Then again, I don't have a lot of time to sit there and think about that stuff. I mean, I'm thinking about my own stuff. I'm thinking about dropping the t-shirts. I'm thinking about the second podcast and ideas and all these other different things. And, you know, like I said, if I don't have a guest for other episodes of the Severely Open-Minded podcast and stuff, I'm still going to do it. It's just going to be, it's going to be, like I said, by the book. This podcast isn't by the book. Like, it is by the book, but it isn't by the book. And what I mean by the book is, like, topic-wise and sports. If we're covering the sport of mixed martial arts and stuff like that and updating it on a weekly by basis and stuff like that, that's for Kicking It with the King. That's all we talk about. I mean, we could talk about sports and stuff like that, but I'm aiming and centering myself and getting guests and stuff for the brand new episodes of, and a new episode of, Severely Open-Minded will air on what is it? This I shouldn't blow myself out and say the wrong date. Because last time we did that, we were a day late, I do believe. So I think next Wednesday we'll be back with a brand new episode of Severely Open-Minded. That will give us enough time from now in between to establish a good guest and, you know, get some you know, like I said, I have a couple of the people penciled in and stuff, so we'll be able to do that and, you know, be quick. I have one of my friends too. He's been wanting to come on for a couple of years. We were supposed to do it a while back, but it never came together. But like I said, we'll set that one up too. We've got a lot to do. Speaking of a lot to do, the fights are on later today too. So we'll be watching those. I mean, I'll be watching the prelims and stuff. Obviously, like I said, with the ESPN Plus app, you can go back and watch them because I do work later and like got a shower and finish some stuff up here at the residence, ladies and gentlemen. So is that it for us today? Like I said, I'm for fight picks wise, like let's wrap up this episode of the show by talking about some fight picks real quick. I mean, I'm gonna go with Rob Font by a TKO. I don't know what round, but I'm just picking Rob Font by stoppage. It's so hard because I want to see Cody win as well, though. That's the thing. Like, coming off of that 3-fight losing streak, I said, did it again. I did it again. I did it again. And I said it again. God damn it. So, Cody, coming off 3 losses in a row, returned last year in November, knocked out Rafael Sunsao, and gain the respect and attention back of fans thinking and hoping for Cody 2.0. Is that where we're going to get in this fight later on tonight? I don't know. I'm going to pick Rob Font, though. Or wouldn't be surprised to see if Cody is able to get the job done. So that's my final picks for that. I mean, obviously, like I said, lots of other fights. I mean, like I said, good luck to Carla Esparza. I mean, very tough guy, very tough female fighter going up against Yan Shonen, who said she was guaranteed a title fight with a win over Carla Esparza. But Carla Esparza's pressure, her wrestling, her top game, her nonstop cardio could be the very difference in that fight, and we'll essentially be able to see that. We'll be able to see that. It's a co-main event. Excited for it. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, I think that is it for us today on this wild, fun, and, you know, very exciting episode of Kicking with the King. The first episode of the podcast since I've redesigned my whole room. And like I said, now you'll be seeing that banner in the background a lot, along with a lot of other stuff. So a lot of redesigning to do, a lot more new additions to add to the room, and personalize it. Dude, it looks like a fucking savage studio in here too. So it's gonna look good. It's gonna continue to keep getting better and stuff. And along with episodes, like I said, new episode this week, this Wednesday, of Severely Open-Minded, episode 2 comes up, and we will return episode 352 of Kicking with the King returns next week as well. So be sure to tune in for those, ladies and gentlemen. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, KWTK Pod for the podcast, G the King _official on Instagram, and so forth, ladies and gentlemen. Subscribe, like, share, rate, review. Anchor.fm/KWTK Pod to subscribe, and obviously listen, donate, whatever you want to do. We will be back next week. DJ, I do believe it's all yours. Thank you guys for tuning in, especially the ones on live. The audio edition will be available in probably about 30 minutes from the drop date, as well as the live will probably be up there like at least 2 to 4 hours from now, ladies and gentlemen. So be able to shout out to everybody that tunes into the podcast and stuff like that. We will be back sooner rather than later. We're out of this bitch. Bye, folks. DJ, it's all yours.